Hey everybody, this is part 2 of the Cranberries video. Welcome to Mike's Songwriting Kitchen. So we're going to be talking about the magic behind the song that is the Cranberries' Zombie. First, we're going to talk about song structure. So for the newbies out there who don't know what song structure is, that's just basically how your song's set up. You know, is there a verse? Is there a chorus? Is there a pre-chorus, bridge, blah, blah, blah. I will do another video that describes some of the different songwriting structures and what the different elements of a song structure do. And we'll even touch on that a little bit as we talk about Zombie. But first, song structure. So with Zombie, the song structure, now I didn't know this, because I never really thought of it as a pre-chorus. But if you look closely at Zombie and the chord structure and you look at the words, the first couple of lines, that's the verse number 1. And then the part where it's like in your head, they're fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their guns, in your head, they're dying or crying. I think crying the first time. That's actually a pre-chorus. And a pre-chorus, what it does in a song is it builds momentum towards the chorus. And it's usually different from the verse. Usually dynamically, usually musically, not in the case with this song, which I will touch on in just a second. But okay, so you've got verse, you've got pre-chorus, then you've got chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Pretty simple structure. The main structure that you'll see in today's popular music is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Or you'll see a variation of that along with pre-choruses. But Zombie uses verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Now the funny thing is, this song Zombie is only 4 chords. Whole way through, 4 chords. I've always loved this song, and I still love this song even after knowing that fact. It's just E minor, C, G, D / F sharp. That's the whole 4 chords in the song. So, to make that interesting, you've got to be able to mess with the dynamics and mess with the melodies. So I'll keep going so I can just get it out of my head. Let's take that back for a step. As a solo artist, like if you're a singer-songwriter like me, and you're out there playing, unfortunately you don't have a band, you don't have a guitar, you don't have bass, you don't have drums, a background vocalist, a keyboardist. So all these other instruments can add dynamics to a song. For example, if the intro is just say the guitar and the bass, and then the drums come in, and then as it starts to pick up, a guitar comes in, just like a little lead guitar or whatever, and then when you get to the chorus, it's for pardon my French, balls to the wall, everybody's going. It's easier to create dynamics with a band, or if you're one of those musicians who creates music in the studio, it's easy to create dynamics with the different instruments that you have at your fingertips. A solo artist, on the other hand, to create dynamics does have some things that it's at their disposal, but it takes a little bit more work. So, for example, in the previous video where I did the cover song, now granted, playing to a video camera is different than playing to people. When you're playing to people, there's like an energy that just kind of grabs you and makes you do things you wouldn't even think of doing, or just helps you climb that plateau. Doing it to a video is a little tougher. It's harder to get that energy that you can feed off of and then feed back. But anyways, so as a solo artist, in my last video, I tried my best to incorporate dynamics, especially since I'm only playing 4 chords. So I feel super naked with only 4 chords in my arsenal. But I don't know if you noticed, the first part, I just did a light little finger pick, tried to add a few lead lines in there, and then started singing over top with a little bit of that. And then I did a light strum on the pre-chorus where I just kind of did the, 1, 2, 3, 4 with my strumming, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then into the chorus, I opened it up. I just, instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, it was more like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I opened it up, and that's how you can create dynamics as far as the music goes. And then with your voice, I don't know if you noticed when I was singing, the first part, tried to sing it pretty light. Then as I got into the pre-chorus, I tried, the first line of the pre-chorus was soft, but I don't know if you noticed the dynamics of my voice. On the second part of the pre-chorus, I started to project a little bit more, started to add a little more volume to my vocals. So the softness and the loudness of your vocal can also create dynamics when you're singing a song by yourself as a solo artist. I mean, even as an artist singing over a band, your voice can create dynamics as well. Case in point, 30 Seconds to Mars. Oh gosh, what is that song? I'll put it in the comments. When I remember it, I'll put it in the comments. Down in the description. But basically, man, he uses his voice as an instrument, and, he really uses his voice softly through a big part of this, song, and then all of a sudden it just explodes, and his voice explodes. So, it just creates another element of dynamics. So, what have we covered so far? Song structure, dynamics. What else can you glean from this song? Ooh, lyrics. So, what do you think the main idea of this song is? Now, I have never spoke to, and she's, passed away, unfortunately, the lead singer of the Cranberries. So I don't know what she was writing the song about, and I'm sure there's something online about it somewhere. So if you want to Google search it and put it in the comments, that's great. But as I read the lyrics to the song and I think about it, I'm like, what is the main idea of this song? And she does a phenomenal job of summing up that idea in her chorus when she said, in your head, zombie. What's in your head, zombie? So what is a zombie? A zombie is a dead person come back to life who's still dead. So it's basically a person who really has no feelings, no thoughts. You're just, instincts, all instincts. You don't care about, someone chops off your arm, you keep going until you can't go anymore. So that's a zombie. So if you go back to the verses, she kind of colors in that idea a little bit more, and it seems like it's talking about, and I think it is talking about like some of the wars in Northern Ireland and the IRA or whatever the Irish National Army or whatever, some of the civil wars and the fighting that were going on there in Ireland. I think that's what the song is about. I vaguely remember something like that. But you can hear it in the verses where she's like talking about, a mother's heart is breaking, a child is slowly taken. And then she's like, it's in your head, but you see, to me, it's not your it's not your family in your head. It's not my family in your head. So she's basically saying like, you can't feel my pain. You don't feel my pain because it's something, in your head, it's just far off and remote, and it really doesn't affect your life because it's not your family being torn apart by war. You're a zombie. You're alive, but you can't feel it. You can't feel what I'm feeling. And every great song that is loved by millions and millions and millions usually has one main idea. And usually that main idea is summed up in the chorus. And then the verses and the pre-chorus, they all work together to kind of color in and shape the idea. Now, she could have went a different direction with Zombie and talked about a different subject, still using the same chorus and same title, but she was able to take what she was feeling or thinking about those events in Ireland, and she was able to sum that up in the chorus, Zombie, and the title, Zombie. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, that's like a perfect example of how you, and we'll get to this in another video, where we'll talk about how you write from the title. I don't know her writing process. I don't know if that's what she did, but to get a song that is powerful as that song, when you really think about it, is writing from the title, writing from the chorus, having that main idea solid, and that's what writing from the title does for you. We'll talk about that in another video, but if you can write from the title and truly color it in with the verses, you have a powerful song that your listener can connect with. And that's the ultimate thing. Unless you're just making music for yourself to please yourself in your bedroom, that sounded bad. But unless you're just making music for yourself to never get anywhere other than the four walls of wherever you make it in, then you don't listen to me about writing from the title. But if you really want to communicate to a listener in a way that they'll appreciate and understand and be able to connect with, then writing from the title is a super duper method of doing that. And that's all I've got for today, but there's a couple of videos that I'm gonna do that I kind of mentioned in this video to go more in depth to some of those things I mentioned, like writing from the title, dynamics, song structure, etc. One thing I didn't touch on was contrast today, but we will do another video on contrast. Anyways, I hope that you find this content helpful. If you do, please like, please subscribe. If you don't, if there's things that you find that are whatever with it, just comment. I don't mind. Like, hey Mike, you talk too much. Hey Mike, throw some of this in there, or some of that in there. So I do appreciate the feedback. And thank you so much for listening to this video, and I will see you next time.